Hey people, what's happening? Let's start with the first one, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So back in 1997, David Heyman, the producer, wanted to adapt the children's book to a film, so he thought of The Ogre Downstairs, but his plans fall through, so a staff in Heyday Films suggested Harry Potter, starting with Philosopher's Stone, or Americans call it Sorcerer's Stone. And his assistants loved the idea, and in 1999, J.K. Rowling sold the rights to Warner Bros. Steven Spielberg got offered to direct the film but turned it down, although he said he would have liked making an animated film with an American actor, Haley Joel Osment, to voice Harry, or film taking elements from books as well. Spielberg thought it was like shooting ducks in a barrel. It's just a slam dunk. It's just like withdrawing $1 billion and putting it into your personal bank account, and there's no challenge. So he then chose to direct AI, artificial intelligence, instead. As he left, there were choices of selecting directors such as Chris Columbus, Terry Gilliam, Jonathan Demme, Mike Newell, Alan Parker, Wolfgang Peterson, Rob Reiner, Ivan Reitman, Tim Robbins, Brad Sibling, M. Night Shyamalan, and Peter Weir. J.K. Rowling chose Terry Gilliam, but Warner Bros. Picked Chris Columbus after seeing his work on first two Home Alone films and Mrs. Doubtfire. Chris got persuaded by his daughter to read the first 3 Harry Potter books, and he became a fan of them, so he got into meeting with Warner Bros. During 2 weeks of waiting. Columbus wrote a 130-page director's version of the screenplay to explain his vision for the film's tone. Showing the script, he has vision of the film, taking inspiration from 1940's Great Expectations and Oliver Twist, such as Muggle scenes to be a bleak and dreary, and Wizarding World to be steeped in colour, mood and detail. He also wishes to use that part of darkness, the sort of edge, that quality to the cinematography, taking colour inspiration from Oliver and The Godfather. Steve Kloves got picked as a screenplay and thought it would be hard to do, but as he read Harry Potter book, he became the fan of the series and wanting to keep it British and the characters stay true to the books. He was nervous to meet J.K. Rowling because he said she was really ready to hate him, but turned out okay in the end. Harry Potter, the boy who lived, is played by Daniel Radcliffe, who survived the killing curse from Voldemort just after his parents were killed, so he lives with the Dursleys in Privet Drive. Harry wasn't fairly treated by them, so he eventually became a wizard student for Hogwarts. Daniel Radcliffe was found by David Heyman, the producer, and Steve Kloves, the screenwriter, in the theatre as they're watching Stones in His Pockets. They described Dan as curious and funny and so energetic. There was really generosity too, and sweetness, but at the same time he was really voracious and with hunger for knowledge of whatever kind. He did acted before Harry Potter. He was in David Copperfield and The Tale of Panama. His parents wouldn't allow him to take the part at first because they thought it was filmed 7 films in America, which was too big for him. It turned out to be London, so they allowed him to audition, and Rowling said they couldn't find a better actor, which I admit, I think Daniel Radcliffe is perfect as Harry Potter. Rupert Grint and Emma Watson never acted on screen before Harry Potter. They did it on plays as they got screen tested with Daniel Radcliffe. It's like they're best friends already. Rupert Grint played Ron Weasley, who's Harry's best friend. Thomas Brodie Sangster was considered for the role. Emma Watson played Hermione Granger, who's best friends with Harry and Ron. And I love these 3, they're perfect with their roles and chemistry over the years. Richard Harris played Professor Albus Dumbledore in the first 2 films, who's the headmaster in Hogwarts. He's perfect as well. He's like Dumbledore that we would imagine from the books. He originally turned down the role because he's aware of his illness, but his granddaughter persuaded him to take it. Alan Rickman played Professor Severus Snape, a potions master and head of Slytherin. He's perfect as well, and I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said already. The child actors were actually scared of him, which made him so good in this. Maggie Smith played Professor Minerva McGonagall, the Transfiguration teacher and head of Gryffindor. She's spot on with the role, and I love Robbie Coltrane as Rubius Hagrid, a half-giant and gamekeeper. Smith and Coltrane were J.K. Rowling's favourite choices for their role. Zoe Wanamaker played Madam Hooch, a flying teacher. John Cleese played Nearly Headless Nick, the ghost of Gryffindor House. He's also known as Sir Nicholas. Ian Hart played Professor Quirinus Quirrell, who teaches defense against dark arts, and has Voldemort's face attached to the back of his head, voiced by him, but physical appearance is played by Richard Bremer. Richard Griffiths and Fiona Shaw played Vernon and Petunia Dursley, Harry's uncle and aunt. Harry Melling played Dudley, Harry's cousin. Warwick Davis played Professor Phileas Flitwick, a charms teacher, and he also played Gringotts' head teller, and dubbed voice for Griphook, as he's played by Vern Troyer. I've met Warwick Davis in Comic-Con, and he's really nice in person. John Hurt played Mr. Ollivander, a guy who sells wands in Diagon Alley. Julie Walters played Molly Weasley, the mother of Ron, Ginny, Percy, Fred, George, Bill and Charlie. Bonnie Wright played Ginny Weasley, Ron's only sister and youngest out of all the Weasley kids. Chris Rankin played Percy Weasley, Ron's brother, who's a prefect. James and Oliver Phelps played friend George Weasley, Ron's older twin brothers. Tom Felton played Draco Malfoy as Slytherin and Harry's bully, who's got two friends, Vincent Crabbe and Gregory Goyle, played by Jamie Waylett and Joshua Herdman. David Bradley played Argus Filch, the caretaker. Matthew Lewis, Devon Murray, Alfred Enoch played Neville Longbottom, Seamus Finnegan and Dean Thomas, the Hogwarts students in the same year as Harry. Sean Biggerstaff played Oliver Woods, the Gryffindor Quidditch team keeper. Chris Columbus' daughter, Eleanor, plays Susan Bones, a student in Hufflepuff. The casts are perfect for their roles. The Hogwarts scenes were filmed in Alnwick Castle, which is not far from where I live, which is cool. And other Hogwarts scenes were filmed in Gloucester Cathedral. I love the opening of the film. The Hagrid breaking in was scary. Probably funny if they added this in.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that would fit in with the response. There's brilliant setup and introduction to the wizarding world. They've got great deleted scenes and there's funny moments in the film. The bit where Seamus exploded in charms and the way Professor Flitwick responded.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Well done, dear.
Really crackled me up. The troll looks a bit like Shrek with human ears, which is funny. I love the Quidditch scenes. The Fluffy and Voldemort are pretty scary in this movie, especially when Voldemort breaks into the house and kills Lily and James. My god, that was terrifying. Gives you nightmares. We also have emotional moments where Harry sees his parents in the mirror. Professor Quirrell with Voldemort on back of his head looks pretty grim.
Stop him!
I thought Dumbledore eating earwax flavoured Bertie Bott's every flavoured beans was pretty amusing. John Williams' music score, effects and direction by Chris Columbus is well done. The differences from the book is some dialogues removed to prevent contradicting Order of the Phoenix. Peeves isn't in it, well, technically he was, and played by Rick Mayall, but sadly the scene got cut. Harry and Draco first meeting at Rogue Shop and Midnight Duel aren't in the film. The story of getting detention in the Forbidden Forest has changed, and Quidditch has changed from traditional stadium to an open field circled by spectator towers. I really enjoyed the first film. The child actors did so well for their first time acting, and this is a brilliant setup for Wizarding World. I love this film a lot ever since I was little. Definitely recommend to give Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone to watch, to those who haven't seen it. So in the second installment to talk about is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.